Oh my god. For this video, I installed the Black Clover Mod for Terraria, which adds a whole bunch of grimoires into the game, and each hold their own special abilities. But before we get to that point, let's start off with the basics. I chopped down some trees for wood and then built some NPC houses. I did a bit of mining, but a little while after, Frank the old wizard arrived. I talked to him and received my grimoire, which was the food grimoire, but if I'm trying to beat this game, I don't think eating my way there is going to work. So I spoke with the wizard again and received the compass grimoire this time. This weapon shoots a literal compass that only deals 1 damage at the moment, but will change depending on the amount of mana I have. It can also level up after reaching a certain number of kills. With the class of royalty, the amount of kills required to level up my grimoire is lower. By how much? I wasn't really sure at that time. I went back underground, did some mining, and at night I collected as many stars as possible. The first mana crystal I used increased my grimoire by 2 damage and the next by another 2. Yeah, it's not a huge increase, but at least I can kill monsters faster now. I wanted to check the status of my grimoire by talking to the wizard, but I accidentally clicked the option to re-roll for a new one, which meant that all my kills required to level up my grimoire has now been reset. But it wasn't all that bad. I mean, I got the fire grimoire with royalty as a class, and besides, fire does seem like it'll do a lot more damage later on. I crafted the topaz hook and continued exploring caves for life crystals and accessories. After getting my health to 220, I picked up more stars to increase my mana, and with 200 mana, my grimoire now deals 16 damage. Then I had to take on the goblin army, which took forever. The more mana I use, the less damage I'll deal, so if my mana goes near to 0, I'm only going to be dealing 1 damage. After taking a million years to defeat the army, I crafted myself some tungsten armor and then summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. Thankfully, the game drops you mana stars to pick up whenever you kill monsters with a weapon that uses mana, so I was able to maintain a high damage, and luckily a star fell onto the boss so the fight didn't take too long. During the fight, I was able to level up my grimoire to level 2, which meant I've unlocked a new ability, the Flame Whip. With this ability, I now deal 29 damage, and the best thing about this is that it can reach all the way to the ends of my screen. But of course, I'll have to keep watch of how much mana I use because this ability does cost more to use. I started making a pathway down to hell, but then an idea popped into my mind. I could summon the King Slime to get kills fast to level up my grimoire to level 3 for another ability. So after finding the Goblin Tinkerer and combining some accessories, I killed the King Slime until I reached the next level. The new ability I unlocked was the Flame Wheel that deals 38 damage. Any monsters who get near me will be ignited, so I basically have a flame barrier around me. I went to the Crimson and summoned the Brain of Cthulhu, and with this new ability, none of its minions could even get close to me. It was actually kinda insane how fast I killed this boss. With Crimtane bars and tissue samples, I crafted myself the Crimson Armor and Deathbringer pickaxe. Next up is Skeletron, and oh my god, I destroyed the hands so fast. All that's left is the head, and all I had to do was just get near it. Don't you guys just love it when you don't have to do anything but click one button and just walk, burning up enemies just by getting close to them? After defeating Skeletron, I flew up to a sky island, right above the dungeon, and found myself fledgling wings, which was perfect. Now I won't have to take any fall damage. I made my way into the dungeon, grabbed myself the cobalt shield, and freed the mechanic. I then hooked up some statues to see if killing monsters spawned from those statues would affect my kill counts towards leveling up my grimoire, but sadly it didn't. I finished mining to hell, so I mined some hellstone to craft the molten pickaxe. Before I take on the wall of flesh, I drank a gravitation potion to find more sky islands. Once I found the shiny red balloon, I summoned the wall of flesh, and this boss was just way too easy. I was easily able to stay close enough to deal damage to 2 parts of the boss while preventing the hungries from even getting close to me. Now that I'm in hard mode, I wondered if killing monsters from the statues will now affect my kill count, and surprisingly it did. I guess it was capped at level 3 until you reach hard mode, so you can't max out Grimoires and just obliterate everything. After reaching level 4, I now have the ability to use Guiding Embers that deals 67 damage. This magic summons a pillar from bottom up, but honestly, I thought it wasn't as good as the Flame Wheel. I could only hit enemies who are either on the same level as me or above, while the Flame Wheel can hit anything from top down and from both sides of me. So I decided to stick with the Flame Wheel. I wanted to reach the max level for my Grimoire, so I searched for some more statues to speed up the process. After achieving level 5, I've unlocked the ability to use Fireworks. It has 85 damage and it's literally a full screen attack. But at this point in the game, I've given it some thought, and to truly become the main character in Black Clover, Asta, I was going to need the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire, and a 5-leaf Grimoire resides a demon. I searched up the chance of getting a 5-leaf, but it only has a 0.5% chance, and with only one reroll left, I wasn't going to rely on luck to get it. So I tampered with the mod a bit to guarantee the next Grimoire I get to be the 5-leaf Grimoire. The Demon Grimoire has the ability to summon 4 different swords: the Demon Dweller that shoots 3 different projectiles, a bouncing fireball, an ice blast, and a homing missile. The Demon Destroyer, which I'm still not quite sure what it does, but in the anime, it can absorb and remove the effects of spells. The Demon Slayer, which is just a big sword. And lastly, Yami's Katana that can shoot out demon sights. So I have all these swords, but on top of that, I can also use anti-magic. The Demon Slash, that's at level 1, but it has 119 damage, so I'm here wondering what level 5 will be like. I'm back in Hell, and that's because I needed the warrior emblem to craft an accessory for the Demon Grimoire. Using the Demon Slash against this boss completely destroyed it. With one slash, it could hit every part of the boss, and it's not just one tick of damage. Every click hits the boss 3 times. After killing the Wall of Flesh again, I received the emblem and combined it with a 5-leaf clover that I found from destroying grass. With this insignia, I summoned the Demon Slayer sword, and this sword that I considered to be big before is now even bigger. Now this sword can reach the ends of my screen, but the damage was still a bit on the lower side. Afterwards, I kept farming monsters to level up my Grimoire to 2. At level 2, I can now summon a Demon Spear above me. This ability wasn't as good as I thought because I could only summon it right above me, so if I'm going to be on the same height as monsters, then I won't be able to hit them. At level 3, I can now summon a Demon Fiend. Now this minion was hella strong. It shoots out a bunch of swords that can surprisingly go through blocks, and whenever its physical body touches an enemy, it'll deal massive amounts of damage. I then went to break some demon altars to spawn some hard mode ores, and after mining enough adamantite, I crafted the adamantite armor. I killed wyverns for souls of flight to make demon wings, which is very suiting, especially since I do have the Demon Grimoire. And then I summoned the Destroyer as the first mechanical boss to fight. I forgot to mention that I'm able to have my Demon Fiend while still attacking with magic. And against this boss with the Demon Slash, holy! I was dealing over 8,000 damage a second. After defeating the Destroyer, I still had a lot of time left in the night to summon the next boss, the Twins. But this time I used the Demon Spear since the Demon Slash didn't have enough reach. Once the Twins were defeated, it was time for the last mechanical boss, Skeletron Prime. And just like the Twins fight, I used the Demon Spear. After making the pickaxe axe, I went down the jungle and found the Plantera bulb. I made an arena and then summoned the boss. I used the Demon Slash for the first phase of the fight and then switched over to using the Demon Spear. If I kept using the Demon Slash for the second phase, then it would have been really difficult to dodge the boss itself and the vines coming out of it. Before taking on Golem, I raised my Grimoire to the last level. I now have the ability to use Demon Pulse that has 282 damage, and this ability summons a demon that rains some sort of like demonic power that explode on the ground, so this will be perfect against Golem. I went into the temple and began the fight, but just like the Demon Spirit ability, I was only able to summon it directly above me, so taking damage from the boss was kinda inevitable. Now there's just one more thing to unlock, and it's something called Mana Zone. After killing over 1,000 enemies, I can now use my demon abilities anywhere I want, which will make things so much easier. I made my way to the dungeon and fought against the lunatic cultist, and after defeating him, I could now surpass my limits. In the show Black Clover, whenever people were put into a tight situation, they would surpass their limits by achieving a new skill. Well, this is exactly what's about to happen. After surpassing my limits, I grew another pair of demon wings, and this really cool black lightning appeared on me. I also gained an insane amount of movement speed, but not only that, my demon roller sword became absolutely overpowered. All the projectiles that were shot out before are now tripled with increased damage. The Demon Slayer's sword also became the same size as when I had the insignia equipped, but now with more damage. However, the Demon Destroyer's sword did not change, and Yami's katana, yeah, I never really had the chance to have it summoned again to see the effect, so I'm not really sure about that one. I broke the celestial pillars and then faced off against the final boss, Moonlord. I had to have my sword equipped at all times. If I switched over to the magic mirror, for example, to teleport for dodging the laser, then the effects of my surpassed limits would disappear. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. That was the Black Clover mod. I know there's a whole bunch of other grimoires, but let's be honest, there's just way too many for me to cover in a single video. So if you guys want to explore the rest of the grimoires, the mod will be put in the description below. That's gonna be it guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, then don't forget to leave a like, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. Peace.